Hey, I'm Alex. This is Jasmin. We're here with Jess. We're going to be talking all things fashion, lifestyle, art, inspiration.
Our brand?
Yeah, stay tuned.
Meine Welt, wie sie mir gefällt. Shopee Tivoli.
Er ist international erfolgreicher Fotograf und Künstler und sie ist Model und Designerin und darf man sagen auch am Alex seine Muse. Und zusammen bereisen sie die Welt und nehmen ihre Followers mit und zeigen die schönen Bilder. Herzlich willkommen, Jasmin und Alex. Jasmin, what's the fashion trend you don't understand at all?
Yeah, I would have said like really big chunky shoes for girls. I really didn't like that. Especially at the start, I thought, oh, it really will go away very fast. In the end, it stayed around a little bit. I wore it also a few times, and I was like, okay, sometimes it can kind of look cool, but yeah, it's something I don't really like so much.
What's the worst thing you can have for your birthday present?
Wow, well, and I wouldn't say, you can't look a gift horse in the mouth. Any present is okay.
But there's something that maybe you think like, okay.
I think it's very difficult for someone else to buy me clothes. I think that's almost impossible.
Yeah. I understand.
But it's not a worst thing.
What annoys you the most about Alex? If there's something after, 10 years.
Just one thing, yeah.
It's difficult. Okay. What annoys me about him?
Careful.
Well, something that's well. No, this is a. This is
Now I'm so curious.
Do I look nervous?
No, this is a nice thing. We're both people who sometimes talk and share a lot, and then sometimes he talks too much. But I too, though. Me too.
So talking too much. Yeah. Alex, what's the thing you love about Jasmin? Like one thing. I know she's super lovable, but like if you have to choose one thing, what would it be?
I love that I can't influence her in any way whatsoever. She's her own person, and as much as I try, or people try in relationships to mold people into the perfect person that they think is right for them, Jasmin is super strong-headed and has a great perspective on things that I don't influence at all. It's her thing, and having said that, I love her perspective most of the time. No, I obviously do, but I think I love her strength.
Would you show us your most embarrassing or funny picture or video you have on your phone?
Oh, that's a difficult one. But I do have something actually for you. It was so funny. It was a casting video I had to film, and I did actually even post it because I thought it was so funny. Yeah, we were in Greece, and it was for a chocolate ad. I can't say which one. And in the end, I was shortlisted. I didn't get the campaign, but I was shortlisted, and we were actually quite surprised because we just thought it was hilarious. Have a look. It's I ate so much chocolate for about half an hour, and I just couldn't eat it anymore, and I kept on spitting it out after, and it was kind of sticking on my teeth. And Alex was filming me, and he was giving me very strict comments. He was getting me impatient.
Make bloopers with my comments, and it's so embarrassing. It's more embarrassing for me, I think.
Fashionshow mega gefunden und mein persönlicher Highlight sind die Jungs gewesen. Hallo, ich bin Vanessa.
Hi, ich bin Brunner.
Mir hat die Fashionshow mega gut gefallen, vor allem die Models und der Sound ist einfach mega gewesen.
Jasmin, ich habe in meiner Recherche herausgefunden, dass du singen kannst. Ist das das Hidden Talent von dir?
Nein, also im Auto singe ich, nicht unter der Dusche, nur noch im Auto heutzutage. Also wenn du mehr irgendwie im Kofferraum reinschleichst, wo ich es gesehen könntest du eventuell mich noch hören singen. Manchmal singen wir auch zusammen. Und sonst jeder noch ein bisschen alleine. Ich glaube, dort gefällt es mir noch. Sonst als Kind und Teenager habe ich das gemacht, das Hobby. Aber nachher eigentlich nicht mehr so weiterverfolgt. Ich habe nachher vollzeitig modeln und ich glaube, beides zusammen wäre nicht gegangen. Man muss sich auf etwas konzentrieren. Und ich habe dann nachher eben wieder in Schweiz später es nachher gesehen, darum hatte ich den Artikel über das Singen. Dort habe ich es mal einmal so ein bisschen angetoucht und gedacht, das wäre jetzt noch cool, hier weiterzumachen. Aber nachher schnell gemerkt, dass es eigentlich nicht so mein Ding ist. Ich hatte keine Zeit mehr dafür gehabt und ich gemerkt, hey, du musst wirklich jetzt das machen, wo du schon angefangen hast, wo du schon Erfolg hast drin, und jetzt noch etwas Neues anzuzetteln, ja, it doesn't really fit together. Dann habe ich nachher eigentlich nicht mehr weitergemacht mit dem.
Du bist ja im 2010 erstmal in die Öffentlichkeit getreten als Miss Schweiz, also in der Miss Schweiz-Wahl. Was ist seitdem alles in deinem Leben passiert?
Also ich war nur eine Kandidatin, nicht Miss Schweiz, und es ist eigentlich nicht so eine... Es waren 2-3 Monate von meinem Leben. Ich habe vorher schon gemodelt, international und nachher auch wieder. Aber natürlich sieht man, dass es in der Öffentlichkeit immer noch, weil die Medien sind sehr interessiert waren. Es ist halt im Schweizer Fernsehen gekommen und es ist etwas, was uns wichtig war, der Schweizer halt. Und genau, von dem her ist das etwas, was auch sehr Spass gemacht hat für mich, und es war cool, ich bin wieder in die Schweiz zurückgekommen. Das war also mein Ziel, weil vorher bin ich wirklich in London gewohnt, schon seit etwa einem Jahr, 2 in Mailand gemodelt, und in New York habe ich gefunden, hey, ich bin fast nicht in der Schweiz, ich habe nicht so viel Arbeit da. Hey, ich möchte wirklich gerne ein bisschen den Bezug wieder bekommen. Und das habe ich nachher auch gemacht mit der Schweiz. Und nachher bin ich, also mit der Wahl, und nachher bin ich zurück auf London wieder gegangen. Und was haben wir gemacht? Also New York noch, ich hatte ein Visum in Wilhelmina Models für 3 Jahre. Da waren wir dort für ungefähr ein halbes Jahr zu einem Jahr. Alex hat seine Fotografenkarriere gebaut, wir sind zusammen gereist, und Kapstadt waren wir auch, für etwa ein halbes Jahr haben wir geheiratet.
Und Alex, you worked as a photographer internationally. How was it for you to move to Switzerland?
As an artist, you're very much influenced by your environment, and living in the city, I looked like a city street photographer style, which actually I was very successful at, and clients were always booking me for that kind of thing, because in photography you get booked for what you do, not what you can do. But coming to Switzerland, I killed that old career, which is a very scary kind of thing to do. I realized that I didn't want to shoot that way anymore, and I started shooting nature, and I started shooting in color, and I started shooting in analog. And I think as an artist, I gave myself a rebirth, and that's the most powerful thing that happened in moving here to Switzerland. And over the period of the last 4 years, I've been constantly developing that.
Is there still something that surprises you in Switzerland?
We've seen a hell of a lot of Switzerland. I guess during the lockdown, which is fortunate, very fortunate, we were forced to sort of look locally, both for work and inspiration and for our art. And so we've seen, I'd say we've probably seen a lot more of Switzerland than a lot of Swiss, but perhaps in a certain, from a certain perspective. Having said that, every region is just so beautiful, and there's always a surprise in everywhere, from the mountains to a new lake to a new hotel. We work a lot with luxury hotels, so we get to experience quite exciting things in each area that we go. But yeah, every region is just so different. Yeah, I think it's really special for such a small place. You really have like so many different cultural
a lot of different
changes.
things. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Originally, you are from Australia. Could you ever imagine yourself to go back?
I think that the way that we are going to live our lives in the future, and we already kind of do, is that we travel between a lot of different cities and countries anyway. So we would spend 6 months somewhere just off, just like that. We'll say, all right, tomorrow or next month, let's go there for 6 months. So going back to Australia for some time, definitely. I think Switzerland is our home now, but I have quite a good connection in Australia, and I think it's important to explore that more. I meant to just before lockdown. I have a gallery over there that's ready to do an exhibition with me, and
that's so
launch something
exciting.
very big. And I was very excited about that. And then as COVID hit, every month we're like, maybe next month everything's going to be okay. Maybe I can travel next month. Maybe and I think everybody was a bit like that. And then 2 years later, we're like, I don't know when we're going to travel. So those things have been put on the hold a little bit. But definitely Australia's on the cards again, yeah. And Uruguay. I'm actually born in Uruguay. And there I have to go and explore, especially artistically and also with my family.
Can you tell us about your exciting project you're working on right now?
One of the most important and powerful kind of things that has changed for me is I'm working with a museum in Ticino, and I'm doing a 3-year artist in residence there every summer. In fact, I'm also going a little bit during winter, and that is just incredibly exciting. That's probably the big one, and from that project I'm able to use some of the ideas and some of the developments that are coming from that relationship to spill on into other projects, like the one that I did with Hermes recently. Jasmin and I have a big campaign that we're shooting in New York and in the Riviera and in Amalfi this month. And a lot of the things that are learnt there and that are tested and explored are also starting to spill into my other commercial work. And
you can always
really cool.
Take something from the other and put them and make it like a big project. That's super
really
interesting.
A lot of fun.
And this will be a nice one because it features both of us, and we also doing the whole concept and the idea behind it, the styling. It's going to be really us, and we're both going to be the models and photographers at the same time.
Jasmin, du bist viel unterwegs als Model seit vielen Jahren. Hat dich das Modeln etwas gelehrt und siehst du vielleicht die Mode auch noch ein bisschen anders durch das?
Ja, also das Lustige ist, was hat mich das Modeln gelehrt? Die erste Antwort darauf wäre wirklich Patience, also Geduld. Es ist wirklich wichtig, dass man ist mit dem Team zusammen und das Model muss wirklich sich überall reinpassen und wieder mit neuen Teams jeden Tag für neue Marken arbeiten. Und Patience, wirklich die Sachen vor der Kamera und natürlich Teamwork, also mit dem Team zusammen kann erreichen. Jeder hat seine Rolle und zusammen macht man etwas Cooles. Und das ist immer das Schöne, was mir jetzt noch gefällt bei den Modeljobs. Und Mode, ja, also eigentlich kann ich es mehr schätzen durch. Weil jetzt eigentlich mit Designern gearbeitet, wo du ein bisschen siehst, wie die Kleider entstehen. Und dann wie in Westwood oder Dolce & Gabbana oder Cavalli, Trussardi. Da sieht man wirklich, was dahinter steht. Nicht nur das Foto machen, sondern die Models auch eben beim Fitting oder schon bei der Entstehung der Kleider. Oder bei Burberry habe ich ein Fitting auch gemacht. Und man sieht wirklich den Prozess, wie viel Zeit das investiert wird, von der Idee, vom Design, ab zu dem Marketing, wo dann Fotos stattfinden. Das ist so much. Und eben der Craftsmanship zum Teil sehen wir auch. Und da muss man mega schätzen nachher. Business Side finde ich schwierig, also man sieht auch, was dahinter steht, business-wise. Und das ist beängstigend natürlich. Das ist riesig, was man alles machen muss. Das ist weniger motivierend, aber so von den kreativen Sachen her, von dort her ist es eigentlich schön.
Und so hast du nachher auch gestartet mit eurem eigenen Leben?
Ja, ich glaube, das war ein natural progression vom Shooten zusammen, Stylen zusammen, having the lifestyle together. Hey, we'd love to have this piece. Why don't we design it together? Ich glaube, das kommt ein bisschen von dort aus.
What's the inspiration behind your collection this winter?
Okay, I can answer this one. Okay, so let me put it this way. The same as with our art, obviously the brand is very representative of multiple messages that we like to give, but we believe that having the public eye, a platform, a forum, even just like interviews like this, they're perfect opportunities to do something good at the same time as selling a product. It's not always just about selling a product. When you're given a platform, I think there's a responsibility there to be careful about the message you give. And for us, in this particular one, we decided that we wanted to shine a little bit of light on global warming and how it's affecting people, especially here in Switzerland. And this is where it kind of comes back to Jasmin, in that where we actually lived, she grew up with a ski lift right behind our home where she could get dressed in her full outfit, walk straight out the front door, be on a lift. And I think about 20 years ago, they shut it down, and we can still see the old lift there, and it doesn't snow there very frequently now. And so people in the Swiss mountain regions really can see global warming. And I think that we wanted to incorporate some of that in this collection. And so therefore, Jasmin's, the scarf she's wearing is actually inspired by an aerial shot of a glacier being a photographer, we wanted to deconstruct it so that it's not an actual photo that we'd be printing, which I think everyone might have thought was going to be an obvious thing for us to do as designers. And she's created this beautiful pattern out of the crevices and the grooves of the glacier. And at the same time, the lining has the glacier inside it as well. And it's just kind of a little reminder to think about the environment. We want people to buy responsibly, buy things that they know that they're going to cherish, they're going to love, that are well made, that are of a high artisanal quality. And
yet stamp of this time as well, because we also know, I mean, me as a child, I was very affected by these things, you know, when they said, oh, there won't be water anymore one day, the glaciers are melting, or many things that happen. I think for kids that's very difficult sometimes to hear these things. They think the world is going to end tomorrow. So I think it was just important to include it as a stamp of our time.
It's a super beautiful message. So you start by yourself and then maybe can change the whole world. Thanks a lot for the interview.
Thank you.
It was super interesting talking to you. And have a wonderful day.
Meine Welt. Wie sie mir gefällt. Shopee Tivoli.
that's your superpower, you know. No one else is you. That's your superpower. Remember that. That's the message, isn't it?
That's the message.